I'm the director of the Media Consortium, a network of the major progressive media outlets in the country. I want to ask you guys a couple questions. Just raise your hand, yes. If the answer is yes. Raise your hands if the answer is yes. How many here are with foundations? How many here are investors or venture capitalists? Okay. How many here are media producers yourself? Oh, okay, good. How many here are entrepreneurs burning with an amazing tool or an idea that you think is going to revolutionize journalism? Wait, where are you guys? Wait, raise your hands. Okay, come talk to me after, because I want to talk to you. And who here thinks they have the answer of how journalism is going to become sustainable? Awesome. I thought I was the only one who didn't know, so I'm glad I'm in good company. So last week, I gave $20 to a platform named Spot.us. Does everyone know Spot.us here? Okay, in real short, it's a crowdsourcing platform that allows any reporter or media outlet to pitch a story. And the crowd decides if they want that story to happen, and they donate $15, $20, $5, and if there's enough money raised, that story gets produced and it gets published. I helped donate $20, and because of that, Mother Jones was able to do a big story on Haiti. So there's a couple lessons from this. One is, a couple years ago, a journalism organization telling their audience what story they were going to do before they actually did a story would never have happened, nor the crowd being able to determine if that story could happen. So it's an amazing opportunity to help support journalism. At the same time, the other lesson is this is not the answer. It's one of the answers. There is no silver bullet of what's going to make sustainable journalism. Everyone that knows me well knows I'm not a cook. Get me in the kitchen. I literally set my coffee grinder cord on fire last week. It's not good. So I have sort of an analogy of how we're looking at business models now, where it's a stew, where there's a base stock that everyone's going to be operating from, but a lot of journalism organizations and media organizations are going to have to create their own special recipe for what their business model is based on sort of their mission, their audience, and so forth. So what does your stew look like, or what are the recipes that make it up? So we're all exploring to trying to figure out that special recipe. Also, as additional background, in the fall of 2009, the Media Consortium produced a report called The Big Thaw, Charting a New Course for Journalism. And the big question is can media producers adapt and lead, or will they disappear as we move out of journalism's ice age? So we laid out 4 major interlocking areas that media organizations and journalism organizations, as well as investors, need to think about as journalism evolves. And one is the sources of value. What needs can be met, problems solved, or desires fulfilled? Business models, how to structure media organizations or to capture value. Then we also have to look at the landscape, the competitive landscape. How is the playing field changing? And the distinctive competencies. What new capabilities are needed to succeed? So from that, we had 4 major recommendations. The first and foremost is we need to change internally. We need to think about how new models will most likely come from new players. We have to increase experimentation. We got to actually experiment, not just talk about the future of journalism. We need to leverage the unique role of a network. We actually have to start working together and collaborating more on editorial and business opportunities. And we need to build audiences as communities. Now, I don't think any of this stuff you're going, oh my God, that's revolutionary. The question is actually how do we start implementing that? So what the consortium has done is actually what we've created this year is what we call our incubation and innovation labs, where we're working with our members to experiment in 3 different areas. Moving into mobile, how to build community and journalism models, and experimenting with new revenue models. And what we're doing is we're leading them through a whole process around research, connecting with different experts in the field inside journalism, but also people working outside of the box. We're bringing them together to talk and collaborate, but what we're also doing is we're providing seed money for a small group of our members to work together and actually experiment. And one example is actually happening in 4 days. We're hosting a hackathon. Does everyone here know what a hackathon is? We, just in short, it's 2 days. We're bringing a bunch of journalists and a bunch of programmers together. We're locking them in a room. We're feeding them. And they're going to be working on building prototype mobile apps, combining the idea of news content delivery and creation and gaming mechanics. So we're not just how do you create a skin for your mobile app. We're talking about how do you create news and deliver news or get your audiences and communities to help you develop that news and have them interact with it in new sorts of ways. And the goal out of that is to actually come up with these prototype apps that can be available for investors or funders to say, okay, here's what we want to explore in investing in, and how are going to build a business model potentially around that. We're also going to be launching our new revenue model lab in just a couple weeks as well, where we're going to be exploring things from crowdsourcing and how do you treat news as your loss leader, and developing special niche projects. How do you get more out of advertising and sponsorship? But everyone understands that there is not that silver bullet. It's the recipe that we're going to be exploring. So I'm going to wrap up real quickly and say that if you have any major takeaways from this, I'd think about investment in a few major areas. Experimentation. It's so fundamental to actually support initiatives and the exploration of new revenue and journalism models. There's also a real need to invest in technology and staffing to help build the interactive and committed community that's going to help that media organization or that journalism have an impact out in the world, but also support actual new revenue models. And I would also say the last but not least is support for thinking about new revenue models that may not be the core to the journalism production itself, but can treat journalism as the loss leader and allow media organizations to think about new ways to package and niche out their content in special ways that have special audiences and potential revenue models. So I'll stop there, and we'll see if there are questions later.